Okay, in previous videos, we talked about definite loops. And again, just to keep harping on this point, a definite loop just means that the number of iterations can be determined by the program. This video, we want to start talking about indefinite loops, which are different than infinite loops. We'll do some demonstration on infinite loops in a second, but indefinite loops means it's hard or not easy to determine how many iterations you're going to go through. For example, let's say the loop is waiting for you to tell it to quit, or the loop is going through a very large file and you don't know, or the program doesn't know how many lines are in that particular file. So it's not easy to determine that. We do indefinite loops with the while loop. So let's go up to my screen and let's take a look. All right, you should be recognizing this sample program by now. This program just basically takes a phone number, strips everything out. So let me put code in here, 440-525-7467. And if we run the program, we look down here, it strips it out. If you get anything out of this class, you'll know my office number. I want to do not one phone number. I want to do 2, 3, 4, as many as I can. I want to keep testing it over and over and over again. So you know what I'm going to do? I am going to put another phone number in here, different format. And I'll run it. How come it didn't give me the second one? Well, if I go up here in my code just does one input. I want to do a while statement that just keeps grabbing more input until we reach a certain condition. So let's do a while statement here. You know what? I'm going to put the while statement right here, right in front. I'm going to say while phone number not equal to quit. And we're going to indent everything over because in Python, indentation matters. Indentation says anything under this colon, that's what we're going to do. Let's run this program. Oh, we get some kind of problem because phone number hasn't been defined yet. So what we're going to do is we are going to put phone number up here. Right? Indentation matters. So now what's going to happen is we're going to grab some input. We're going to grab that phone number. As long as it doesn't say quit, it's going to go through this loop. All right, let's run this program. We just did what's called an infinite loop. In an infinite loop, it's looping, but it never met the condition. Now, in Zybooks, you can see over 5,000 or 50,000 characters before it stopped. In a real ID, it will go on until you tell it to stop, until you break it. You know, you might have to hit a break there. What did I miss? What did I miss? I missed getting another phone number. Yeah, it took the first phone number. It wasn't quit. So it stripped it out, printed it, went back to while. Phone number never changed. So there was never a quit here. So it just kept on going with this phone number. So you know what we have to do? We have to put another input statement. Say phone number equals input. All right. And now that should run. Let's see. Nope, we're still having problems here. End of file, reading a line. We got a whole mess going on here. What's going on now? Okay, let's go through this. We have the phone number, getting the very first one. We used to call it priming the pump. The phone number is this one here, and it strips it out, and still it does print it. But yeah, it did print it right here. All right. Then it got the second phone number and still not a quit. So it stripped the stuff out here, printed it out, and then it grabbed another phone number. There's only two. It went for that third one. We're looking for quit. We want to stop this loop at a quit. So guess what I have to do? In my data, I better put quit there. So, because what it's doing, I'm going to change these numbers so we know that it's working. All right. So what it's doing is it went past the end of the file, and that's always dangerous in programming. If you take any of my cybersecurity class, we can talk about that, buffer overflows, but we're not going to worry about it here. It got the first phone number, then it got the second phone number, and then went for a third phone number. There was nothing there. So it said, you reached to the end of the file. So to stop this indefinite loop, I had to put a quit there. Let's run it. There you go. So it got the 2 and it printed. Let's do something a little similar. You know what? Let's do it interactively. So I'm going to go over here to Replit, and this is just my interactive program. And I'm going to put my while statement here. While phone number not equal to quit. Indent all these, so they're all under the while. We are going to input another number. But now what's going to happen is when I run this, it's going to sit there and it's going to wait for me. Let me clean that up. It's going to wait for me to keep typing phone numbers in there. So let me run this. Give it a second. Okay, I'll say 440. 525-7467. All right, now it's waiting for another phone number. We'll say 216 55 or 333-1234. Now it's waiting for another number. We can say 440-234-4567. All right, and it's going to sit there until I do what? Until I tell it quit. So an event has to occur. The event is I'm going to hit quit and the program's done. How about if you watched my really quick auto grader? I don't want to sit here as a human being. I don't want to sit here and type all these phone numbers. Why don't I redirect? Why don't I create a whole bunch of phone numbers in this file here? And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a whole bunch of copy and paste. Whoops. I don't know what I hit there. And I can change these around. So we know that we're getting some kind of value. I'm changing the area code. I know it's not valid area codes, right? So now we're 7. If I run this program now with a redirection, what are you expecting, right? What are you expecting if I run this program through a redirection? If I say python main.py and I redirect the phone, a little trash can is going to drive me crazy. Python main.py redirect phone.txt. It ran, it did everything I told it to do, but what happened? It went out for that 8th phone number, and that 8th phone number didn't exist. It reached the end of the file, and it was still trying to do stuff with the end of the file. What do I need to do? Well, I have to put a quit here, right? Now let's run it again. And you can see it hit that quit, and then it's gone. What if I put the quit anywhere else in this file? Well, if I don't put the quit at the end of the file, well, let's run it. I put it after the third one. Let me clean this up. And let me run it again. It only did the 3. So the moment it hit that quit, it jumped out of the loop. Now, there's a lot to loops inside the books and stuff like that. This is just a quick demonstration of an indefinite loop. In an indefinite loop, you can't determine how many iterations, or it's not easy to determine the number of iterations you're going to go through, which is different than an infinite loop. An infinite loop just basically means you did something wrong and the program can't stop. I'm going to do that right here. If you remember from the Xi books, I'm going to get rid of that input statement and I'm going to run my code. Let me clear up the screen a little bit. Let me run this code. I'll put a phone number there, 440-525 or 535-7467. And there's that infinite loop just running away because it never got a chance to ask me for the next number. So let me stop this. And you can see the buffer is just overflowing, so it's just going to keep going. So let's switch back to just me talking. Again, this video was just a really quick demonstration of a indefinite loop. And again, an indefinite loop, I'm going to keep beating this over and over again. Indefinite loop just means it's not easy or almost impossible to determine how many iterations you're going to go through. Where a definite loop, like the for loop, you can determine how many iterations you go through. Now, in the next series of videos, we're going to look at some very sophisticated loops using some redirections and things like that. So that being said, let's go learn something.